So my next design is, I have this sentiment strip die, and again, there's no mark on it, so I don't know what company it's from, but it does just cut out sentiment strips like this. Now, I've tried in the past to use the negative space, but it doesn't work that well. So I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to use the strips. And what I like to do is just to add these onto cardstock. These can be absolutely any color. I don't need my sticky mat for this. I use that, and then I use Altenew foam tape and my handy dandy T-ruler. So then all I will do, oh, actually I want to cut this down to size. I usually cut mine so that I have just an 1/8 of an inch border. Sometimes I'll do a 1/4 of an inch. Generally, I just do an 1/8 of an inch. And then I can take my scraps, and all I do is just add them on, you know, wherever I want to add some dimension. So I can do, again, I'm doing the thirds lines, but I think I might also do odd numbers. So there's a rule of odds and a rule of thirds. So I have them where it's like towards the third of the top, towards the third of the bottom. But then I could do either odd numbers in each section, or I could do odd numbers total, so that I could have 3 and 2, and that would be 5. But I'm not yet sure yet what I'm gonna do. So first I play, and then I add the tape. I add it right on here. I should do it in the camera so you can see what I'm doing. And then the first one especially, I use the T-ruler just to get it into place. I don't know why I'm doing it that side. I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to do the T-ruler on the left side. And then I can just come right in here and line that up. And then it just gives a little bit of a dimension. I need to use my larger scissors to do that. So I can do that, and then I can do the next one. And sometimes I go all the way across the page, and sometimes I just do small little lines across the edge. Totally depends on my mood. I'm going to just use the lines on my mat, and I'm just going to add this one right along. See, I tried to line it up on both sides so that it would be somewhat even. And really, it's better to snip it with larger scissors on the back side. And honestly, I could do that at the end. I don't need to do it every time. And then what I also like to do on these is to add a sentiment onto one of the strips before I tape it down. So let's put this back on a line, and then, whoop, try not to move it. And then I'm going to follow this line right here so that it goes straight across. And this just adds a little bit of dimension to play with. So it's fun. do one more, and then that way I will have an odd number of strips to work with. And I think I will put that right here on the bottom, lining up both sides. And then I can flip it and trim off any extra. This one, on my Pinterest page, I have one card that has a background like this, and I have one card with a background like we're gonna make right now. And those are my two most popular posts. People really, they're pretty eye-catching once you add something to them. So this one, I'm just gonna add strips and kind of weave them together. So to weave, you go under one and over one. So let's just start with two. So you put the two down, and you can have your X anywhere you want it. You can have it all the way over to one side. You can have it on the thirds. You can have it in the middle. You know me, I'm going to put it more on the thirds side. So I have this one over the top of that one. So now this next one would go over the top of this one so that it's kind of woven. And then this one will have to go under this one and over that one. You can maneuver this underneath that one, over that one. And you can maneuver this one under. See, this one is over, so this one would have to go under this one, over that one. Under that one. You do your weaving first and then add the glue. But again, making sure that those are level. So that's another way to add some dimension to your background. And then again, just cut off the excess. So two fun backgrounds using the strips. So these are the two cards that I made using the strips. And by the way, I forgot to mention, if you don't have a die that cuts the strips, you can easily just use your paper trimmer and cut 1/4 inch strips, and that'll work just as well for this. So this is the one that I used the crisscross strips, and this is the one that I popped them up on foam tape. This one I added the Altenew Doves in Flight layering die set. I just used one of the doves and I gave it a little bit of shading with a light green and added a sentiment. And then this one, Hello Gorgeous. This is the smaller flower from the Grandalia layering die set. I think it's just beautiful with the coral bliss and different coral colored flowers. And what I did with this one to add extra dimension is I put foam squares behind some of the petals just to make them pop up a little bit. And then this one is not Altenew, but it's one that I just wanted to show you because I have a set that cuts all of these die sets for sentiments from Spellbinders. And it just makes a really great masculine card, I think, to just add those as a background. And then I threw on Spellbinders sailboat. I have a friend who's turning 60, and for his 60th birthday, he's actually sailing through the Caribbean islands. So I thought this was a perfect card for him. So just an idea to show you how to use different strips in your card making. I have one more video for later. So again, I hope you'll join me again, and I'll see you then.